Hi everyone, welcome to Easy Tarot Lessons. I'm Sally and I'm here with Skwirl and Mandy. Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
We're here today to talk about the Two of Swords. Yay, Two of Swords.
Yay.
So who would like to start us off?
I think my immediate reaction to this card is no. No, it's a real kind of like computer says no, and I'm not budging, so that's it. Yeah. So yeah, I do get this as a very kind of like definite negative a lot of the time. Also, I do see it as somebody who's just can't even see what their kind of choices and options are. It's somebody who's really kind of like shut down and kind of like just doesn't want to kind of even know what the possibilities are.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I pick up on the moon in this, actually. Like, you know, this person needs to work with the moon, as I'm very moony lately. I am getting that a lot with this card.
Well, sorry to interrupt you, but one of the things I've noticed about this card is that moon is off kilter.
Oh yeah.
Anita and I, man, we looked everywhere to find out why. Why is that moon wonky?
Oh, it's very wonky. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
we
don't
we
know what the
never
answer
found
is.
anything, but that moon
No.
is really off kilter. And
Yeah.
does it have a meaning from Wait or Pam? I don't know, but it does mean something to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. No. I mean, I've got to be honest. I now I'm sort of really sitting here and being forced to properly look at it. I often don't notice the fact that a large part of this card is taken up by the blue of the sky and the sea or the lake or whatever it is, you know, behind them. I mean, I don't tend to take on board the setting of the card. I just seem to kind of go for the kind of like the character and what the character is doing.
Mm-hmm.
But there is I think there is more to it. You know, perhaps it is kind of, although it is swords, perhaps the fact that it is so sort of watery and the moon is there, perhaps it is more of an emotional card than I've given it sort of credit for in the
Well,
past, to be fair.
one of the ways I see it, and I'm sorry, this card talks to me. And
Yeah.
and I think this is going to help me understand something that I just don't get. And I'm sorry to talk about astrology again.
No, it's fine.
But it's become a big part of my life. And you don't have to understand astrology, I hope, to understand what I'm about to say. But I, the swords for me are air. And this is as fixed as it can get, fixed air. So
Yes.
Aquarius, and this fixed air is super opinionated. She don't confuse me with the facts, man, but she's got her back turned to the water and the blindfold and that defensive body position. She does not want to deal with her emotions or the emotions involved in the situation. She doesn't want anything to do with it. So where it's very emotional, she's trying to close herself off of those emotions, which
Maybe I think that's maybe what I was
Yeah, I see it as blocked
ultimately
off.
maybe that's what I was looking for. Thank you, Sharon. That's kind of really answered that. Yeah. She is very detached,
yes, very yes. And
but she is
Sally?
very consciously detached. I kind of think it's kind of, she doesn't want to see what her choices are, but that is her choice to kind
Right.
of, you know, to not have choices. It's very stubborn.
La 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 la. I'm not listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm so sorry, Sally. We just walked all over you. I heard
Oh
you
no,
say
that's all right. That's all right.
we got excited.
I was just going to say, I see, yeah, closed off from emotion, guarded from emotion, but I don't necessarily see that she's stubborn necessarily, because sometimes I see her as a mediator, I see her listening to all arguments without interjecting emotion. So, yeah, she's listening to the facts, but she's listening to the facts in order to make a reasoned judgment, not an emotional one.
Now, I have heard her compared to the Justice card.
Yeah, so when I see this card, sometimes what it'll say to me is, I am not going to be distracted by extraneous issues. I'm not going to be swayed by your appearance, your charm.
Or your emotions.
I'm just going to listen to the facts.
There is something as well about the blindfold, and I do think that I imagine that people that do have kind of like sight problems, or maybe even are completely blind, would have heightened other senses.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Kind of makes me think of one of those kung fu movies where they have the blindfold on, but they're still able to hear and feel everything around them.
Yeah.
She's sitting there
or
with
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Right.
Sitting there with two swords. She probably has amazing reflexes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she must be incredibly strong to hold up those two swords like that.
Right.
And sit so straight back.
Yeah.
Now I want to point out what Mandy and I said and what Sally said were two vastly different interpretations, and neither one of them is wrong. It would be how the card hits you at the reading. Don't just discount it, or don't say, oh, one is right and the other is wrong. Really look at that card and see how it hits you at that time. Intuition plays very strongly into a reading, and if you just get locked into a rut of, oh no, this can only mean this, you're really, really Ace of Swords in reverse, stabbing yourself in the foot. So both are very valid interpretations.
And obviously the moon may be the thing that is important to kind of note about that card, according to your, because the moon represents the mother. It's very feminine. I'm not necessarily saying the moon is going to be the meaning of the card every single time, not at all, but there will be times when I kind of like feel the moon may be the thing you're supposed to look at there.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And another thing I was looking at when I was just looking at the card right now, and again, I haven't seen this before, I'm looking at the water behind her. And if you look pretty close to what would be the quote-unquote shore near her, I see these things in the water like they're coming at her. So she's so focused forward, she doesn't see what's coming up behind her. So she's so defensive in one way, she's exposed herself in another.
She thinks that she's safe because she has the water at the back. But then I see like at the bottom of this, or the top, right by the stage, the bubbly looking things.
Yeah. So she thinks she's safe. She thinks she's defended, but she's forgotten a whole different aspect to her environment, and she's not prepared for that. So if you think it's coming from the water, she's defended intellectually, but she's emotionally exposed.
And she thinks by bottling up those emotions or turning her back on them that she's safe from them. But I love the way you pointed out those bubbles. It's boiling over. Wow.
So what if this came up reverse?
I was just going to say the same. Wow. I would sometimes see that as it's time to kind of take the blindfold off and actually see what your options are.
That would be the song Desperado.
Yeah, yes, be prepared to give something, a chance.
An actual lessening of or backing off of, or in some cases just so incredibly defensive that she can't communicate at all.
Right.
That abundance of.
Yeah.
And I keep looking at those rocks in the water. Usually when there are rocks in the water, it's rapids. Because there's that other horizon, land on the other side, could be a river, but that's pretty calm water.
Yes, it is quite calm,
except for them bubbles in the beginning, where she's at. So she has been able to go through logic or opinion and push everything aside. But those rapids are starting up with those bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
Really, Sally, that was brilliant. Thank you.
Have you actually turned it upside down?
Oh, yes.
Because her little feet, and if you look at it in reverse, they look like little horns, don't they? They look
Yeah,
like
they do.
little yellow.
They do.
And looking at it now in reverse, it really, the precarious position of those swords, it would be almost impossible to hold them in that defensive position. They're just going to go shlook and cut off her head.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we really climbed into this card.
We have a tendency to do that.
We do. We do. And again, nothing we say is set in stone, even though she appears to be set in stone.
It does look like scissors, actually, as well.
It does.
Going back to the upright. I mean, you might sort of say, go and get a haircut or something if you saw.
Yeah. Nice.
But don't look while the beautician is doing your hair.
Right,
Wait till she's done.
Have you seen those people that do the haircuts with the razor blades? They just fly through the hair. That's
oh my god.
So, anybody have anything else to add for this card?
Oh, honey, we could be here for a year with this card. So I'll bite my tongue. I love this card. Apparently.
Yeah, I do too. This is a card I actually use a lot when I'm doing protection things for myself. When I'm visualizing protection, this is the card that comes up because I can set it out there and I know nothing is going to get through it.
Maybe put the sun behind her so she has a wall to protect her from the bat.
I do think this is one of the ones that's kind of good for sort of setting boundaries, actually.
Yes, I agree.
Like work out where your boundaries are and do not cross them. Or let anybody else cross. Yeah. As shut down as she is, she says a lot.
Yeah, because it looks like she's really trying not to communicate, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Everything about her says back off.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it does. Well, there you go, everyone. You have the Two of Swords and all of our opinions, and feel free to add your own in the comments.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great having you guys. Thanks very much for being here.
Thank you, Sally.
Thank you, Sally. Bye.
Bye.